All right, so just 1 more minute. Actually, it's 2:05, so I guess we can start now. Okay, welcome everybody. My name is George Penev, and I'm the co-director of the Bulgarian Fintech Association, and I'm going to be your host today. So in the next minutes, we're going to have a presentation about our future topic, the smarter way to optimize your business online. So right after that, there is a Q&A session. So we would love to have your thoughts and opinion on what our colleagues presented. And just before we start, just a really quick disclaimer that this webinar is being recorded, so we can share it with all our members afterwards. I hope that that this is okay for you. So without losing any more time, I'm giving the stage to Valentin Savov and Angel Abadjiev from one of our newest member, Vendofin. All right, so just unmute yourself, and it's. Do you want me to unmute you? Okay.
That helps. Thank you. Hello to everyone. My name is Valentin. How is the connection? Everyone is?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. I would like to start our presentation first with the introduction of the company IMS. And IMS is specialized in collecting receivables, remarketing and sale of assets and portfolios, management of assets as well. Our team has gained extensive experience in international banking and non-banking financial institutions, collecting agencies and others. In the past several years, we have successfully acquired and managed numerous large and medium-sized portfolios of receivables, whereas our assigners have been banks and other financial institutions. Knowing the process to its core, we understand the main difficulties and particularities in collection of receivables, disposal of assets, including portfolios. And traditionally, the sale of assets or receivables is a very lengthy process. It requires advertisement, negotiations with all kinds of potential buyers, difficulties to dispose of pure commercial assets or receivables. Of course, there are all kinds of intermediaries and brokeries that get involved in the entire process. So, in summary, it's a lengthy and not very easy process. It could be also very expensive. So we believe that there is a faster, easier, cheaper, and better way to dispose, respectively acquire assets and receivables, and at the same time achieve transparency and the best market prices possible for the asset and possible for the market. So following the international trends, we decided to digitalize the process, to simplify the process, to make it accessible and easy to understand and easy to be used by anyone, both sellers and buyers, of course, with our support when such support is needed. So we took a very formalistic and old-fashioned, so to say, business and tried to adapt it to the new manner of making business in the world, the digital. So this is how we decided to create the Vendofin platform, which provides all the benefits of being digital and being easy and being able to sell and buy assets and receivables in a very easy and transparent way. The presentation of the platform itself will start with my colleague Angel.
So hello everyone. My name is Angel Abadjiev. I'm the CTO in IMS Bulgaria. I'll present to you the what is our platform about, and you'll get acquainted with all the benefits that you get from such a online auctioning or e-auctioning platform. So here we start. We created the e-auctioning platform with the intent to provide a fast and market-oriented solution from which both sellers and buyers can benefit. Our platform gives transparency and traceability of the entire bidding process with full logging of user actions since the auction creation. At the platform, it is possible to host simultaneous sale of assets and receivables, which makes Vendofin kind of an eBay for both types of receivables and assets. Our expertise in the financial sector allows for targeting the right investors with direct marketing, as well as by using the well-known marketing channels. All of this is provided free of charge for all products published on the platform. All sellers at the platform are legal entities and have full control of the sales process. The sellers thus can decrease the sales cycle and reach the potential buyers in the most effective way, and are able to sell at the market price defined by the buyers. Our solution is fully GDPR compliant, and the platform is hosted at an EU site of Microsoft Azure. What is also important for all investors is that we only charge a success fee due from the buyer based on a very simple model. So anyone interested in different investment opportunities is welcome to register. Lastly, but not the least, we have at Vendofin a COVID-19 immune solution, where we rely on an entirely online process, from setting up the auction till signing of the sale contract, which can be done electronically for all applicable deals. At Vendofin, we don't have retainers nor participation fees in the auctions. Our support for sellers in the auction setup is free of charge, and we also provide free sale contract templates. Based on our expertise in various types of sale deals, we will assist both parties in the contract signing process, and will only charge a success fee in case of the contract is concluded. That is to mention that our fees are below the market averages for similar type of deals. At Vendofin, there are 5 types of assets and 7 types of receivables that can be sold. To enumerate, these include vehicles, heavy vehicles, equipment and machinery, real estate, and recently we gave the opportunity for businesses to sell their working businesses. In addition, there are 7 types of receivables that can be sold at the platform, varying from simple account receivables, retail and corporate performing loans, secured retail non-performing loans, secured corporate non-performing loans, and unsecured retail and corporate non-performing loans. There are various types of auctions that can be set up by the seller depending on his needs. These are English type of auction with visible bids, whereas the highest bid after the auction started is visible at all times. After the auction finishes, the highest bid is the winning one. This type of auction is suitable for selling all kinds of assets, and is the preferred one for real estate, vehicles, heavy vehicles, and is one of the simplest ones to manage, and both for the buyer and for the seller. We then have the English with hidden bids, which is the most common form of an auction. This type of auction is similar to the English auction with visible bids, but the bidders cannot see the current highest bid. At any given moment, only the bidders with the top 3 offers can see their current position. We come to the more sophisticated types of auctions. This is the sealed auction, where the bidder can submit unlimited sealed offers, which are not visible for the other auction participant. It is not required that each subsequent offer is higher than the preceding one, but the qualifying offer are the ones submitted by the buyers, the last ones submitted by the buyers. So when the auction finishes, we get the last submitted offers by all the bidders. we come to the last two types of auctions, mixed one with visible bids. It is comprised of two subsequent auctions. The first phase is a sealed bid, and the second phase is an English auction with visible bids. So it's a combination of these two. And then we have a mixed auction with hidden bids, which is similar to the previous one, but the first phase is a sealed auction and the second phase is an English auction with hidden bids. This mixed type of auction is suitable for sale of receivables and complex deals when a lot of participants are taking part in the auction bidding process. So creating an auction is an easy process and done in 5 simple steps. First, the seller enters the name and the description of the product to be sold, being it asset or receivable. At the second step, the seller drags and drops some pictures of the asset. The third step is for adding some additional supporting documents. Fourth step is for providing key facts and technical data of the product. And then at the fifth step, various parameters of the auction are configured. Before the action starts, it has to be approved by AMS administrator in order to avoid any misconfigurations or inaccuracies. As you can see, the sellers can range from banks through non-banking institutions to almost any type of legal entities. They set the rules themselves, configuring various types of auction parameters. They can select the preferred buyers, the minimum sales price, the bidding ranges, and the buy now price, which is available 1 hour prior to the auction start. Vendofin acts as the mediator between the buyer and the seller. We provide a number of free of charge services like validity checks, auction marketing. We target the right investors, as I mentioned before, through various marketing channels. We monitor the entire sales process, prevent against e-auction fraud, and nonetheless, we provide support during the deal closure. What all the sellers can benefit from are increased incomes by extending their customer base. They can get the optimal selling price, where the seller can configure various auction parameters, assisting the seller to obtain the optimal price for any given product. This, of course, eliminates the risks for the seller for setting too low or too high the price for the given product. A service contract between the seller and AMS Bulgaria has to be signed prior to configuring seller's own auctions, which can be done entirely online. The seller also benefits from low expenses. He pays a minimum success fee after the auction's end, thus saving the high expenses for hiring a broker or for setting up a physical auction. We also provide for high liquidity for the sellers, where they can quickly increase their liquidity by organizing the required auctions, as well as by setting up a buy now prices for the most attractive assets. I also would like to mention that the buyers have several advantages. They have the option for negotiation by participating in an auction. It allows for a fair price to be negotiated between the buyer and the seller. In the bidding process, the buyer on his own can define the price at which he is willing to buy the product, and if this price is reached, he would be the successful bidder. We also provide the benefit of anonymity to the buyer, and this means that the buyer's identity is hidden during the entire auction process. We create the connection between the buyer and the seller at the moment when the contract for purchasing the asset or receivable is signed. And last but not least, the buyer has the convenience of participating remotely in auctions, whereas during the bidding process, they can ask questions and receive answers in real time. This is in general how our platform functions, and we would also like to share with you the specifics and challenges of selling receivables at Vendofin. So I would like to hand over back to Valentin to go through the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, Angel. I will receive with the receivables, and what receivables can be sold on vendofin.com. As I said, we try to make the platform very easy to be used from both sides, from the sellers and the buyers, and to cover all possible exposures and receivables portfolios. So you can sell on the platform both performing and non-performing loans or portfolios, whereas these performing or non-performing loans could be distinguished between retail and corporate. We have provided full security for the seller and try to comply with all requirements, GDPR requirements or any other requirements in order to protect the seller when disclosing information, as well as the personal information of the debtors, for example. So when you're setting the sale of a performing or non-performing loan, or in most likely of retail or corporate loans, there are different forms and different data types that could be used. So all the Bulgarian legislation and European legislation is complied with. Another type of receivables that could be sold or bought or purchased through the platform, these are accounts receivables. Many companies have receivables toward their contractors on issued invoices and unpaid invoices, and in order to collect these receivables, if we follow the formal way and the usual way, such company needs to go to court, needs to wait for many years until the final court decision or arbitration decision, to make new expenses for lawyers, for court fees and expenses, for all kinds of experts' opinions and so on, and until the final decision is reached, sometimes you never know whether your debtor will be still existing or will be solvent and will have the cash or the assets to repay its obligations. So using this platform actually allows the companies to cash and to get liquidity very quickly, instead of going through the process of court litigation to try to sell it right away. And this is extremely useful in situations like the current one, where companies that have cash, the companies that have liquidity, can actually meet the challenges of the crisis, of the recession that is already happening here. So it's the platform is very user friendly and allow everyone, lawyers, companies, any trader, just to list its receivables on the platform and try to get the best possible price through the auction. So who can sell receivables to Vendofin? Through the platform, receivables or portfolios with receivables could sell banks, non-banking financial institutions, leasing companies, lawyers, anyone who has receivables. Using Vendofin, the seller is in full control. What that means? The seller can determine what should be sold, what is the information that will be disclosed to the potential buyers. It will manage the information, controls the entire auction procedures. It selects the type of the auction, the term of the auction, when it's going to happen, how long it's going to continue, determines the lowest price, and also the terms, the steps for bidding. additional options that could be used from the sellers, because some sellers prefer to sell only to certain buyers that are approved, buyers that are prudent, buyers that have who have a good reputation. So we have types of auctions that are available also for banks or non-banking financial institutions, where the entire procedure includes the process of approval of bidders. Not everyone could participate in the auction and acquire a portfolio or a receivable. So as an example, we provide the sellers with templates of templates of the data tape, templates of the announcement, or any other support that the seller might need in order to sell its receivable or its portfolio. So, for example, we have given here an announcement that could be published on the platform in order to attract interested bidders. So first we start with the high-level announcement that a portfolio with certain, for example, with non-performing retail loans, is for sale. This announcement would be visible for all users with a company account on Vendofin. On this stage, usually this is, as I said, a high-level announcement, so there should be no confidential data and information included. We give a special term for anyone who is interested to participate in the auction, to state its interest and to apply for this. Only potential investors will be communicated to the seller and selected, shortlisted by the seller. So we collect all these registered companies on Vendofin, communicate them to the seller, and the seller decides who will continue to participate in the auction. Of course, the participation in the auction is also subject to the signing of the non-disclosure agreement. That is because we need to protect the interest of the sellers. The shortlisted investors who have signed NDAs then will be invited with a special link to participate in the e-auction. At this stage, the seller will disclose also a data tape file, which will contain the most important information describing the portfolio or the receivable, the type of the creditor, the debtors, the length, the term for non-payment, if it's secured, if it's not secured, all these particularities which are important for the buyer to decide on the price, to decide on whether to bid for the portfolio or not. The seller shall fix a term for the review of the data tape file and the date and time of the auction. As I said, we provide the sellers with full support and also with templates of different data tape files that could be used by the sellers, depending on the type of the portfolio that are selling. For example, we have included here 2 examples of the data tape files for the non-secured exposures or for the sale of real estate exposures secured with the real estate. This is usually, from our experience, the information that is needed by a buyer to assess, to evaluate the portfolio, its price, its value, and whether to participate in the bid or not. As I said, it's a very simplified procedure for the sale of the receivables. We would like to continue our presentation with a small video clip, which actually shows the procedure for setting up an online auction for receivables. Angie will play it right now.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen. So now it's the Q&A session. So please feel free to ask any questions and express your opinion on what Vendofin does. And while we were just waiting for the audience to formulate their questions, could I ask one myself, Angel? So how exactly does Vendofin differ from, let's say, eBay, OLX, or some other platforms, auction platforms? Did you hear me?
So pretty much we have used all our experience in the financial sector to simplify the process, and we target the investors to participate at auctions for assets and receivables. So whereas eBay is kind of a auctioning platform for smaller types of products, here at Vendofin, companies can sell their receivables, which is the benefit for them to provide liquidity and also to reduce their costs for setting up complex deals with other types of buyers.
Okay, then. Do we have any more questions? Someone from the audience? You can just unmute yourself and just shoot. All right. Hi, Loic, you want to ask something?
Interesting, I like it.
Okay, let me just admit, can you repeat the last one?
Yeah, I like it. Thanks for the presentation. So I have questions about exclusivity first. If I'm selling a portfolio on the platform, can I also try to sell it outside the platform, or is it just it must stay on the platform until the deadline for the auction? So that's one question. And second, I understood that the potential bidders, they can ask questions to the seller, right? And are these questions and answers visible to all the potential bidders, or they are private, kind of private and secret? I will mute myself.
So let me start by first answering your second question. Yes, all questions and answers are visible to all participants in the auctions, but still, as I mentioned, anonymity is provided, so you may not see whether this particular question has been from a particular person. So all questions remain anonymous. Regarding the exclusivity, your first question, we have complete terms and conditions available published on our website, so everyone can get acquainted with it. And basically, as we mentioned, we also sign a contract with the seller. So based on this particular contract, there can be various terms additionally signed. Also taking care about the exclusivity at our platform.
In addition, the sale of a platform is quite, it's not an easy process. It needs to be set a database, it needs to be set a data file. So usually when we sell a portfolio and a seller is using the platform, they concentrate on the sale through the platform, even if it's not required explicitly that it should be an exclusive channel for payment. Plus, the seller itself is the one who sets the term where the auction will take place. So if then afterwards it would decide whether to continue with the platform or to try a different way.
Not to mention that our success fees are below market averages, so this also helps the sellers to choose the preferred type of channel for selling their assets and receivables.
Meaning that if they're using alternative channels, they have to, of course, face the regular expenses that are usually associated with the seller portfolio. Preparing online database or a virtual database or a physical database, paying lawyers and consultants to check, to see, to spend time for negotiations and so on. And this doesn't make economic sense to do it at the same time as when you're using the platform as well.
Okay, thank you for the answer. I have a third question, but I don't want. But are you involved in the closing once a bidder and wins the auction? Do you go a step further in the closing, in the feedback loop, or at this stage, no?
It depends only on the preferences of the seller. We provide such services in the sale of portfolios or in the sale of receivables or in the sale of assets. So if we're appointed to do so, we do have the expertise and the manpower to provide all these additional services: consulting, signing of the SPA, all the documentation needed for the closing of the deal.
More questions? Someone? Okay, so what I have as just a really quick question, I saw during the presentation, but you said that AMS is supposed to confirm the auction, right? So how much time does it take?
Pretty much according to our GTCs, we'll confirm the auction within 8 hours, but normally it happens quite quickly.
Okay, thank you so much. Someone else? I guess that's it. All right, then thank you guys. Thank you for your time, and huge thank you to Valentin and Nagel for their presentation. So we're waiting. So definitely it was really nice presentation, and next week we have another one coming, one from my boss. So we'll be talking about COVID-19 and how businesses were forced into the new age of payment. And when it comes to this webinar, just like I told you, I'll send you a link with the recording. Just like I told you, we are recording this, so I'll send you this recording as well. And just one last question from, actually not a question, but a favor to ask of all of you who participated here, who attended the webinar, just to be so kind to fill in the feedback form that I'll send you over. It would mean a lot to us and to evaluate our webinars and just to be better next time. And of course, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn, and stay tuned for the latest fintech news that we post every day. Once again, thank you for your time. Stay safe, stay home, and see you next week. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
You too.